Before we kick this off, I wanted to talk about this campaign that we're running with Frontline Healing Foundation, which we'll get into on the episode a little more about, how that connection point between what you guys do at Warriors Heart and Frontline Healing Foundation. But this is a campaign that we're starting with Blue Bearing and Frontline Healing Foundation. I'm wearing the shirt right now, but I wanted to give you guys that so you can see it as well, and so the viewers can see this. It's this hope through giving and light and healing.
That's awesome.
So it's a campaign, and we're going to start this December 2nd. So we're going to start it now. We're going to start it now, and the idea is that $20 a month isn't much out of our pockets if we have that the abilities to give, but it also is on the surface. Some of us are like, well, what is that going to do in the grand scheme of helping someone else? And, some of us, when we've got to that point where we realize we need help or someone's helping us to that point, last thing we want to happen is that we can't, get you to the treatment or get myself to the treatment like I have in the past, just because of some sort of financial hardship. And whether it be through a VA claim or through, private insurance, covering the cost for the inpatient or the outpatient treatment, or, as it pertains to substance abuse, post-traumatic stress. So this is a big, and traumatic brain injury as well. This is a big way, well, what you guys do, and we'll dive into it a lot deeper, and then what Frontline Healing Foundation is doing and being a part of the board more recently as of this year. One of the hardest things that I have to do is say no when someone submits a hardship.
Yep.
Just because we don't have the money to fund it. And, this is one way that I think that, our audience can be a part of that, by giving, to get to hope, right? Some of us, just a light in our lives, could just be answering that phone, could be just saying, here, we're going to work through it with you.
Yeah.
And come to find a yes somewhere. And with this campaign, it's going to be, for the year, $20 a month. We came up with $240 for the year. So if you pay for the year up front, and it's all going to go to Frontline Healing Foundation, which if you're not familiar with, is I think the only nonprofit that exists just to subsidize financial hardships for substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury. Through inpatient and outpatient treatments, but more specifically through what you guys do at Warriors Heart as well. And we're doing our best to try to show you all that there's good nonprofits out there, and that this is one that we will always support. Through me being on the board, but also through this campaign. So your donation for the year will get you this shirt and allow you to be a part of giving. And giving others hope through healing, but also through being a light. All of us have this light inside of us, but we don't know where to go with it or how much we could help. And I think $20 a month is reasonable for us to be able to be a part of that. So that's the Hope campaign. Yeah. So if you think about it, our goal for the campaign is 1,000 people that are doing this $240 for the year, and they can spread it out over $20 each month, and it'll be like on a reoccurring donation perspective. But if you think about it, if 1,000 of us do this, that's $240,000.
Wow.
That we can raise with this campaign.
And every $20 matters.
Every $20 matters. And everyone may not know how much it costs to go and do this treatment. And like I said, if the VA doesn't allow them to do this treatment, now they're trying to find other creative ways to pay for the treatment that they need. And, this could be, some of us need rescuing from ourselves. Yeah. And the last thing we want to do is not be able to help create other ways to be a part of the healing that we all so desperately need,
Yeah, I appreciate that, because there's willingness windows that opens and closes. When someone finally says, all right, hey man, I need some help. If we don't act fast, that window closes again.
Yeah.
And each time it gets worse and worse from what we've seen. So when we get that warrior on the phone, they're like, man, I need some help. but I burned everything down. I don't have VA or I don't have private insurance, whatever it is. We're like, hey, we got you. Fill out the application, Frontline Healing, fill out the scholarship, and we'll see what we can do. And to your point, if you say no, like, oh man, that's the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
Then we got to communicate back to the warrior, like, hey man, can you hang in there? We're going to keep fighting for you. We're going to look at these different resources, and that window starts to close again, and it just defeats them. So getting 1,000 just incredible human beings, Americans that can support this cause, support our warfighters, support our veterans, support our first responders, our EMS, like these ones that we call when we need help, because they called us and they're like, hey, I need help. So for us to be there for them just completes it.
I mean, that's exactly why we're sitting in the studio right now today, and to talk about y'all's mission. So thank you guys for being here. I am going to get into the intro of the episode. I don't think that's a good segue, but welcome back to the Blk Blu podcast, episode 26. I'm your host, Kyle Morgan. If you are just joining us for the first time, thank you. If you've been with us for a while, thank you. But everyone, click the subscribe button and check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and as well as Blue Bearing's Patreon for the Only Seen There bonus episodes of the Blk Blu podcast. I'd like to introduce our guests for this episode, Tom Spooner, and he is the president and co-founder of Warrior's Heart, and Josh Lannon is the CEO and co-founder of Warrior's Heart.
Yes, sir.
That's us.
That's y'all.
We're here.
Y'all are here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. This is something that I really want us to dive into on the episode, and with our audience, the supporters of the Blk Blu podcast and Blue Bearing and obviously Warrior's Heart, and Frontline Healing Foundation for that matter. But, talking about the why, like why we're here today and why we're here, this time of year, even, I just think that needs to be kind of set up front. This isn't just an opportunity to grab another mic for y'all, and share just a message. It's so much more than that. It's the timing of this time of year coming up on the holidays. I know that the holidays have been some of the hardest times for me in my life, at some of the lower times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
when things weren't going good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And suffering in silence. And then it got even harder when I had pushed everything away that during the holidays is meant to enjoy each other and connect, and take some time off. And it just became such a volatile time for me and very unstable. So I think even the reason that we're doing it right now, just to be that light for others that know they're going into the holidays, that maybe don't even realize that they're struggling with something. But, I think it needs to be something that we talk about first as far as the timing of this.
Let's do it,
Tom.
Can't really think of anything right now.
Well, so like, what are some of the hardest parts about it being the holidays coming up, and if putting yourself in the shoes of someone that maybe is realizing they're struggling with something, and then being like, well, hey, I'll just wait till after the holidays and then get the help I need, or
Yeah, most of the time that's what we see as folks don't want to, like, talking about Warrior's Heart specific. Is that it's like, well, I don't want to be, gone for the holidays with the family and everything. And from a funny side, you know what I mean? It's like, for me, just talking about me, it's like, yeah, let me just screw up one more holiday before, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me talking about me. But it's just that mindset, like, hey, this time is going to be different. This time it's going to be better. It's the holidays, so it has to be better. And it's, in my experience, that was the opposite. You know what I mean? Because it was the holidays, and because, like you said, the intention of it was to be close and together and everything. But before I had any healing in me, or especially whenever I was still drinking, you know what I mean? It just made for, the opposite of that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's so many expectations for holidays, to show up, to provide, to be this person.
Mm-hmm.
And running and gunning, and it's all falling apart, man. It's like more exposure, to your point. Like, I can only hide out for so long, and now I'm supposed to get together with my family and keep it all together and pretend. Yeah, and there's been so many times I personally, I made things worse.
Oh yeah.
So when our guys say, "Hey, just let me get through the holidays," like, what's the best gift that you can really give your daughter or your mom, or is like sobriety, like you truly being who you are, not this addict, not this guy that's falling apart. Like, let's get some healing. Let's get you trained up with some healing first. Then you can truly be that person.
Yeah. I mean, it takes me back to some lower points when I was struggling and still putting on that mask,
Yeah.
Being like, I'm good. We're good. It's another holidays and another vacation. And
your eyes are hollow, but you're saying, I'm good, man.
Yeah. I was talking with Erica about this more recently, is like, I don't think we went on any vacation that I didn't end up kind of messing up in some way or another because of alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I would, it'd be good for a bit and then it wasn't, and that's really hard to realize that I did have a problem, but because it was a very sneaky problem till it wasn't. So the mission at Warrior's Heart is an inpatient treatment facility where warriors are healing warriors.
Yeah.
Can you guys just talk about that a little bit as far as that resource that you guys have created?
Did we want to talk about how we got together first? I'm Rain Man, bro. We talked about like how we met. Like that's what you said downstairs.
Yeah, no, we're definitely
and I'm stuck on that.
No, I know. You're chronologically brained. So am I.
So we got multiple TBI.
He gets punched in the face a lot.
Yeah.
I still do. I did yesterday, matter of fact.
But I do think, because we kind of not glossed over it. We talked about Warrior's Heart, but that mission, I think if you could just talk on, the co-founders of Warrior's Heart and why y'all started it.
You want to go? Want me to go?
I'm joining this frame band.
So what you're saying is we're not going to talk about how we met first. We're going to talk about this first.
I think you talking about Warrior's Heart connects to why we met, why y'all met. Yeah.
I'll talk about Warrior's Heart a little bit.
There we go.
I'm going to sit here and think about how I can convert this into something good.
This is funny because this actually reminds me when we did some CQB earlier today.
That's right.
You guys were pushing me out of the way because I was moving too slow. Now I'm going to step in front of you.
There you go.
Finally, yeah.
There's a gap.
Exactly.
There's a gap.
Plug the gap.
Exactly.
Shoot the gap.
So yeah, Warrior's Heart is a 42-day inpatient treatment center. So we do detox from shaking it out, alcohol, drug detox, to inpatient treatment. And then we also have outpatient, long-term sober living, and brain treatment. So we meet the warrior where they're at. Life's like it's not working anymore. Drugs and alcohol has hijacked their life, and that's where we come in. We get the call, and we bring them into our facility. And we focus just on the warrior class, active duty, military, first responders, essentially. That's who we are and what we do. And the mission is warriors healing warriors. Everything is built for the warrior by warriors.
Yeah. Does that encompass veterans too, though?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry if I didn't say that.
No, active duty and veteran. I think it's huge because a lot of people, they don't know. They're like, oh, I'm not a veteran of the military, but even law enforcement, first responders.
Oh, absolutely.
Can access this. It truly is the warrior class, like warriors healing warriors.
Absolutely.
And we're still the only one in the nation that does that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's special.
Yeah.
It just, from my experiences out there, I haven't visited your other facilities in Virginia, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
I guess the flagship facility in Bandera, it's special. I don't know how else to say it other than as soon as your feet hit the ground, you feel like you're in a place that's a place that you can heal in. And I've been to other treatment centers, inpatients, intensives, and they took my shoelaces, my belt from me. and I viewed it as punishment, you know, and that's,
and if you were homicidal, suicidal, that's appropriate.
yeah.
Right.
But most of our guys aren't. They're just struggling.
But there was nothing else out there.
Exactly.
Like when
It's
I
like
did
one extreme or the other, either
So we bridge that
outpatient
gap.
or psych patient.
you're like, Kyle, go do this, and then you can go back to being operational. I'm like, Roger that.
Mhm.
You know, and
It strips you because it wasn't the appropriate level of care for what you needed.
no.
And that's
Mind
where
you, I took away what I needed from that.
Yeah.
Like I needed to be humbled,
Mhm.
and that humbled me greatly.
Mm.
But I just think that the way y'all are doing it, even having not gone through the treatment at y'all's facility, just the experiences I've had down there, it's special, man.
Yeah, because the industry, that whole piece is very punitive, like a punitive model where it's like dirty, rotten, nasty, alcoholic, and addict. You know what I mean? You really don't deserve anything nice. You know, you're making everybody else suffer. You're like, all this stuff is like, hey, you shouldn't have it nice. When in reality, it's the opposite that has to happen. You know, in order for that person to heal, you know what I mean? That it needs to be the opposite of a hospital setting, the opposite, you know, of all the constraints and restrictions. I mean, we have to go by state licensing and joint commission and everything, but we're still able to deliver our product, you know, which is sober, confident warriors at the end of it, you know, through that process that we've got together, which is the opposite of punitive.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to take responsibility for your actions.
Why 42 days?
Well, at first that dirty, rotten part, like I knew that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't need someone else telling me that. Like, I've confirmed that to myself over and over again. You know,
and my wife and children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have evidence of that. So, you know, the normal process is 28 days. Why is that? There's done a lot of behavioral changes can be made in 28 days. I personally think it's because of an insurance model. There was facilities out there back in the 80s doing 90-day programs. They're like, this is too expensive, so we need to shorten it up. So they found studies, lobbied it, and got it to a 28-day program. 4 weeks for our population being, you know, the warrior class, it's just too short. Take away the drugs and alcohol, you're really taking away the medication. But what's left? The PTS, the trauma, survivor's guilt, moral injury, all of that stuff then surfaces. So why 42 days? It's kind of the minimum to get into that work where drugs and alcohol and the underlying drivers.
Yep. Yeah, it's like 4 weeks is just enough time of being clean to start to feel some of those things that you're dealing with that you couldn't feel because you were using the other things to stop you from feeling.
You figure 4-week program, the first week, I'm just trying to figure out this place.
Yeah.
I don't have my guard down because I'm like, who are you and what's going on? Week 2, okay, I'm starting to get some work done. Week 3, I get really some work. And week 4, I'm already thinking about leaving. So really, I have a week and a half maybe of good treatment in a 28-day program. It's just too short.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, regardless of how long that treatment is, like, I do think there is an element of like getting more time to get more repetitions of, well, this is actually good for me. You know, like these techniques, whatever the tools, the skills that you're teaching them or that you're exposing them to, you know, through all the different modalities, which I want to talk about a little bit of treatment, because I think it's really cool, you know, some of the things that you guys are offering down there, but not just that, like to find something that works for them.
Yeah, and that can't be too long either because we don't want to institutionalize our guys either.
Yeah,
you've been sweet spot.
Yeah, you've been trained. Let's go apply the techniques now.
Yep.
And come back. Let's talk about it. Let's debrief it. What worked? What didn't work? That's why I have these step down programs.
Yeah,
because it's all about training. You know what I mean? Like there's psychology and there's medical doctors and everything that we have there, but really when it comes down to it, it's no different than any other training modules that you've experienced. It's like, hey, how do I navigate life without drinking and drugging and being in control and have tools for my emotions and live in the present? Like I'm not trained on doing that without alcohol and drugs to mask the stuff that's going on.
And I think that's one of the hardest things for someone that's maybe a high functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
And like for me, if I didn't have something the next day or that next weekend, or that weekend was free, then that's when I would start to binge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it started to manifest, like, you know, for a couple of days at a time. And then I'd go back to the week, you know, and if I had something that week, I would never, don't be late, let her out of uniform, you know, and I wouldn't show up drunk. I was a professional, right? So I had to do what my job, our old job, at a very high level. And it was one of those things where it made it a lot harder to figure out, like, man, I am an alcoholic. And, because I realized over time, like, I'm abusing it, but then that wasn't enough to get sober.
Yeah.
It was enough to use that punishment of the intensive inpatient treatment I've gone through and come back and stay a dry drunk for everybody else for a certain amount of time. But it was gonna come back for sure.
I was a binge drinker as well. You know, I worked in nightclubs in Las Vegas. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was game time. Ran security teams, ran the clubs. And then Saturday night, Sunday morning, it's like, okay, now it's my turn. And then I'd go out for 3-4 days, come back, clean up for a day, boom, back to work again. And that was the cycle. My wife knew it, but no one else really saw it because I hid it.
Yeah.
And I was still the professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the professional life was, like you said, high functioning. Like I was like golden boy,
Very
you know what I
capable,
mean? As
yeah.
far as like on that aspect, but then at home, it was just a disaster.
Yeah.
You know, my personal life and my professional life did not, you know, connect.
Yeah.
During those times.
Yeah, especially at your guys' level. I mean, professionals, you were still hitting active duty, still doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's, I mean, it ultimately, like, if I look at my whole adult life, or even when I started, I think I drank my first drink at 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And El Toro tequila, playing quarters, had no idea what I was doing. And just completely, you know, alcohol poisoning, the whole thing. But that's how I started.
Yeah.
That was my exposure to alcohol. I mean, it was in my house, you know, from my father, but, you know, it wasn't, he would drink, you know, a case of beer in the garage, and I'm like, what's he doing out there? You know, I kind of viewed it as him. He'd work hard and then he'd just go out there and just avoid us or whatever, you know, but he was struggling with it too. And then I viewed it as, you know, a social lubricant, because a lot of people may not realize this or not. Like, I didn't used to be a super social person.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of forced that as a coping mechanism to feel good about myself, you know, because I learned that at such a young age of, like, well, if they like me, then they won't hurt me.
Yeah.
So everyone's just going to have to like me. And then if you don't like me, I'm like, well, why don't you like me?
Right.
You know, I'm Kyle, I'm fun, I'm cool. And I just it would not make sense of why people didn't like me, or some people, you know, because my sense of self was from their validation of that, you know. So, and all alcohol did was give me that liquid courage to be social. And then I learned through my military career how to be a part of a team, and realized how capable I was and could be. And then I just continued to perform, you know, at the highest levels, and all while not ever really learning, like, really, you know, who am I? And it really did take a spiritual awakening for me to realize that, you know, I got to get sober, because I want to live my life to the fullest, and there's no way that I could keep doing what I was doing and rationalizing that behavior. There's just no way. There's no hiding from it. There's no running from it anymore. Because I realized there was more that God had for me, and, you know, I'm coming up on 4 years sober.
Congrats.
This month. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, because some people don't have a problem with alcohol. They could drink it, put it down, no big deal. What we're talking about is when alcohol hijacks your life.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, okay, there might be a problem here. Let's talk about it. Some people have a glass of wine once in a while or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I don't understand that because I'm just not wired that way.
Yeah.
I think you guys are the same way. Like, if you're going to do something, let's do it.
Yeah. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well.
Right.
And a lot.
And a lot.
It's a blessing.
Sometimes
and a
well,
curse.
sometimes well and a lot, like, get blurry.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, well, I'm going to be a really good drunk. Doesn't make sense. But that's who we were. That's not how we are or who we are anymore. And I think there's an element of like, I don't ruminate on the fact that I was a certain way. I also don't lose sight of the fact that if I choose to go back to that, I choose to alienate everything I care about, and
no mystery to it.
Like there's no mystery to it. There's no like, oh well, it's like a snake to the flame. It's and even when I smell it now, I'm like, people that are around me, they're respectful because they know I've been very public with this, but people, it's not like I'm gonna just explode if I see it or if I'm out
Sure.
and you're having some drinks when we're at dinner. I just tell people if I'm there, it's probably because we're to do training. So I'm like, if we're breaking bread or whatever, and the guys on the team choose to drink, that's fine. But if I smell it on you tomorrow, I'm going to choose to remove you from the course.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's just like being a man. Part of that is like childish ways of thinking and acting have to cease when you become a man. From 1 Corinthians 13:11, and it's like I'm a man. It just took me 37 years to become a man.
Well, congratulations for finding that, because there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah. So how did you guys meet? With this idea. See, now we're here. We made it.
Man, I feel so much better already just knowing we're here
back
now.
to here, yeah.
Yeah, where we were supposed to be from the beginning.
Where do we go from here? We're here, Tom.
I don't really got nothing to say about that.
All that build up.
All the build up for nothing.
So, Tom,
how'd you two meet?
Yeah. So,
oh no, man, he got one because we're talking about how we met.
Yeah,
first.
there we go. Yeah.
See, you were going to go along with that. Man.
I was about to
continue to keep me off track.
Yep.
He
was a little
conspiracy
today.
It's a conspiracy.
We were in the house.
Conspiracy.
We were in the house.
Conspiracy.
We were in the house doing CQB, and Josh was uncomfortable a little bit, just fighting through it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're a little uncomfortable, Tom.
Conspiracy.
Saying breach her up. I'm like, I don't have anything to blow anything up. Do I kick the door?
You got your hands, dude, and your feet.
Wait for the nod.
This is the technical part of your tool.
So how we met.
Exactly.
I'll kick that off.
There we go.
So it's a really cool story. So what was going on in my life at that time was 2013, the summer of 13, time frame wise. So I got out in 11. And me and my brother were going around training in law enforcement, living off the resume. But it was tough. I mean, as you know, starting to job.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And living off credit cards. And so we were always just trying to turn tricks and make money. We would do what we call fun and guns. You know how when you put stuff together. But we did one for an organization called the YPO, Young Presidents Organization. We got in with them, and it was a 3-day course that was pretty awesome. I mean, it sucked. It was 3 days. Like, it was legit. Like, I probably wouldn't have signed up for it. But so we put on that course, and the only intention, it was in Hoffman, North Carolina, out at Oak Grove, part of that piece. And that's where we did it. And so we were setting up that event. The only intention of setting up that event was, hey, getting paid, putting on good training, realistic, and, and getting paid for it, and that's where Josh had signed up for that course. I can tell you where he was at with it.
Yeah, I saw this advertisement. It did not say fun or gun or any of that stuff. It said, do you have what it takes?
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Good marketing. Had a guy crawling underneath barbed wire with mud on and camis, and like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a little U.S. Special Operations Selection experience, something like that. And I'm like, yeah, man, I want to go for this because I love that kind of stuff. I always have as a civilian. I always want to try to get trained up. I've been in martial arts my whole life. So it's like, yeah, if I'm going to carry a gun, I better know how to use it. And anytime I can get training from guys that are carrying it for blood or money, right? Those people are the experts. So found this course and signed up, and away we went.
Because you had already done the Navy one, right?
Yeah, Leadership Under Fire. I did that one with the SEALs down in Coronado. It was like a mini bud selection. It was cool. It was tough. I probably did like 2,000 push-ups a day. I was just fatigued, right? And we did all kinds of cool stuff. And I don't like the water too much. I decided that in that course.
Me neither.
I don't like getting wet and sandy or wet and sugar cookies and all that stuff they call it. I was like, yeah, I'm good. So I saw this one. I'm like, yeah, I like the forest a little bit better. So signed up for that, for your course.
Mm-hmm.
And it was offered through the Young Presidents?
Yeah, Young Presidents Organization. So it's basically like AA, but for presidents and hired guns for companies, entrepreneurs, presidents that, who do you talk to? You really can't talk to your staff about certain problems.
Yeah.
So they've formed little boards, 8 to 10 guys, and then you have your own board of directors. And from a personal problem to a business problem, you throw your problem on the table and you get shared experience.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a cool, really cool organization.
Yeah.
Functional.
Very functional.
But then you talk to my brother.
Yeah. So then I get a phone call. Hey man, who are you? And are you in shape? Who the hell do you think you are? Guy's been training for this thing for months and you're just signing up at the last minute. I'm like, thinking, aren't I the customer?
Like I'm paying you money.
Like
man.
He's shaking me down here. Were you in shape? I go, well, a little bit. Most CEOs aren't. I'm like, oh, well, a little bit of CrossFit and stuff at the time I was doing. And he's like, well, we'll see. We'll see. Like, okay. Here's your list of gear. Make sure you have everything and be on this time, this target. And I'm like, yes, sir. And I was like, okay, here we go. So it started right out of the gate.
Yeah. And I can imagine how you guys ran it, but
yeah, it was.
Give us a little snapshot of what that looked like.
Oh no, and we gave them the there was no, because CEOs, presidents of companies, they know everything, what's going to happen, exactly when it's going to happen. So
where's the agenda?
Yeah, zero thing. And the first thing that we made them do was, we put there'd be pistol, carbine, some tactics and all of that stuff. And so whenever they came in though, that was like the next part. We were doing the old like instructor mode face, and then so we had them in the classroom. And then one of the things, because we rolled them up during it, is we had made them sign slap and punch waivers. And so slap to the face and punch to the gut. And we didn't tell them, they just have all these waivers. They're signing non-disclosure, the normal training stuff. And then they get to that piece of paper. It was about 12.
Yeah, a couple of them sniffed that out. Hey, what is this?
Yeah, and then you see everybody kind of looking around, looking at them. We're just standing there, and it's like waiting, and everybody signed it, and
all right.
Yeah,
and they were good to go. So we had that piece of the course, and it was good training, man.
Yeah.
It had
you have the guys out from out there.
Yeah, a lot of solid dudes out there, and it was legit. But during the course,
So they actually got rolled up though.
Oh yeah, man.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Part of
It was perfect. Like
That's a cool experience.
The last thing, the very last thing that they did, they were mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. They were doing unknown runs, the whole thing. So it was
land navigation, but that was really just for sleep deprivation classes all night long.
Just keep you moving.
keep them up.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even do land nav with them. It was just, that was one of the letdowns for Josh. He's like, finally, we're going to do land nav. Got like a 4-hour block of instruction from it. It was just to keep him up. We never did any land nav. So he's still a little sour about that.
Bring that up once. That was the one thing I studied on.
We'll do it sometime. I love it, but yeah.
But then the one thing that, so the cool thing, what was going on in the different worlds, meaning mine and his, was that on my side of the house, from my own personal experience, and then, super passionate about sobriety and, and helping guys and the veteran suicide, back then they didn't even talk about the 22 a day, it hadn't come out yet, so, we were really big on that and, and helping guys not get there, through chemical dependencies, and helping that. So that was what was going on in my life. And then his life, that's when Annette's son, had taken his own life, who was a veteran. So we were both kind of in that same space, and Josh and his wife, Lisa, were running, Journey, right? You know what I mean? So they had 6 different facilities, been doing it a long time. So, you know what I mean? They were going to have,
what was Journey?
Rehab center, but for civilians, 18 to 65.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So they've been, we started, when was the first one? In
2002.
So
wow.
They started that in the business of that in 2002. So now it's 13, you know what I mean? So been doing 11 years math wise, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. 11 years. So, but then during that event is, so now that was going on. So he was kind of in that space. I was in that space. And then what really kind of brought it all together was we did a Warriors experience one night. Like, talk about that piece. Yeah.
Yeah. And prior to that, this is probably more for the Patreon episode, is that there was a whole interrogation process, and when he rolled us up, and
there's some funny ones.
It was a lot.
We'll dive into that on the Patreon episode.
Yeah.
Because he came to it twice.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. You're like, no one comes to this stuff twice. I'm like, I want to see if I can do better the second time.
I'll try anything twice, man.
They're like, then you better not tell anyone what's coming.
Yeah.
Like, I won't. And then you guys change it up on me too anyways. So yeah. So
what you weren't prepared for.
Because I mean, okay, down pilot, a little bit of seer stuff. Like there's things that I could see on the internet and get an idea what's coming. But the veterans experience, I wasn't prepared for. It's like, hey man, we kind of showed you the sexy stuff, the fun and gun stuff. But what we're going to talk about now is the stuff we don't even talk about with each other. And we went deeper into the woods and heard some stories that were just real and honest. And it was like, whew, man. And then afterwards, in the debrief, Tom said, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. We lose more veterans we do at home in a war at home than we do in combat. And for me, that was the first time I had ever heard that. Like, it just didn't even make sense. Like, that, how's that even work? Like, it doesn't compute. So reverse engineering is like, when a guy or gal typically takes their own life, they're drunk or high. It's like, man, so if I know addiction side of the house because of prior business journey. So if we attack this with substance abuse, that's the opener, the primary diagnosis, then we can actually lower the national suicide rate of our veterans. And then so I went home and I told my wife about the experience, and she's like, because my wife was a cop in Vegas. So I'd run nightclubs in Vegas. She was a cop. The joke was I'd get him drunk. She'd book him in jail, the full circle, right? And she's like, yeah, dumb. And I think at the time it was about 1 every 17 hours. Those numbers have changed. I was like, really? Cops too? She's like, yeah. So if you think about it, like, this population is suffering in silence. Yeah. And the civilian world, I had no idea about it. And now that I was exposed to it, I became responsible. And that's when Tom and I really started to talk and like, hey man, what can I do? What can I do to be a part of a solution?
Yeah.
Because I was benefiting from, from freedom, benefiting from, hey, I call 911, the police show up, firefighters show up. Like, I'm benefiting from all this stuff. And now that I know what's going on the inside and I have a possible solution, at least to try, I had to, I had to do something. Otherwise, doing nothing would be worse than going for it.
Yeah. Having known, now this information, it's like, what do I do with it?
What do I do with it? Yeah.
A lot of people want to talk about problems, but being a part of the solution, I think is, and it's not that we have, it's still like this self-admission, self-diagnosis, self-awareness piece that is, so it's required, man. Some of us get shaken up and dragged in, but some of us can also, and that's why I do what I do, man, because I want people to, if I can share any part of my story to help you in any way not go to the point that I went to.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, safeguarding that, people from that. And but also if you're already there, it's not too late unless you say it is, kind of thing. But I think it's wonderful that you had this idea to bring in, the people that you brought in for that experience, but then also not just put them through, all the fun and gun stuff. It's like, we're gonna show you a little bit more about this too. And
so real quick, and then hand it back over. What Tom didn't know was happening in my life. Besides the reason why I got into the field is, man, I was in the bathtub with my rifle. I was ready to end my life. My wife saved my life. A team member saved my life. And so I got into the recovery space, and it's like, okay, I got to help other guys get sober. And now here comes Tom, and our cross paths. It's like, okay, it's time to play a bigger game. Like I've got reps in from 2022 to now 2013. Well, 12, I think 12, 13 is when we met. And it's like, okay, now you're ready.
Yeah.
It's like, whew, this is a big mission,
Yeah. So we brought in the summer of 13, we're like, yeah, let's do it. It was kind of like, hey, you want to do karate in the garage? Like, yeah. You know what I mean? So, but Josh and Lisa, they knew how hard, I mean, that business, just the business piece. So I grabbed Lori and the boys, and we flew out and met Josh and Lisa and Haley and Jake at the, it's to see if we were compatible, you know what I mean? Because it was going to be tough work. So we spent about a week there, a few days, and then different things happened, and we got it going in 15. We found the property and all that piece.
And knowing a little bit about Tom, and you were still pretty
Yeah,
rough.
I had way less therapies, like no therapies at that time. So I was a little rough.
Yeah.
Like,
because you got out and then started training right away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, okay, just for a comfort level, here's your vehicle, and in the center console, there's a pistol and an extra magazine for you. You're just kind of like, okay, thank you. Just those little things, like here's your pacifier. Just I know who you are, your background, like it's appropriate for you to carry. So here you go, because I know you didn't bring one.
Yeah.
Just those little things, like helping it out.
But that was the cool thing about that story is like a lot of the teachings and trainings that we do is like, hey, you're setting out on a goal. His goal was to receive, military type training. You know what I mean? My goal was to get paid for delivering that training. And out of that came Warrior's Heart.
Yeah, that's wild.
So they
in the woods in Hoffman, North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Not at a seminar, not at a...
Well, that's the part that I think is interesting to peel back a little bit too, is not only did you put on a wonderful experience, the challenging that exposes you and others like you to a little bit of what we did and do, but then adding in that piece at the end.
Yeah, the rest of what we.
And what did you call it?
At the time we called it a veteran experience. Now we call it a warrior's experience.
Yeah. Because you had mentioned a story about the cave thing.
Yeah, that was the first time that I did it. It was in 12. Yeah.
Where you take away some of the light.
And what that is, because we had talked about unity and all the different things, like when you were talking about training and mixing, law enforcement with responsible private citizens, you know what I mean? And doing those kinds of training. There's on the healing aspects, not in the training piece, but the warrior cannot heal without the community in which they fought for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many times, like, civilians, they don't understand, Josh getting all kinds of heat, like, well, he wasn't in the military, you know what I mean? You know how all the guys do. And that's okay, you know what I mean? Get it, but the thing is that it takes all of us together to move the needle forward. You know what I mean? If you look at anything that's successful, there's a mix of all of us together in it, and so that's like why in Warrior's Heart, you know what I mean? Like with the partnership that we have is like, I can't do what Josh can do. He can't do what I can do. So we are truly partners. If we could both do the same thing, one of us is going to become irrelevant at some point.
Yeah.
But it was truly, you know what I mean? Like an actual partnership.
Well, I think that's like there's a lot of profound things that you've said to me over these past couple of years. And I'm like, one of them was sharing that experience and the darkness side of it, and how you just maybe hear a voice as you're sharing that with your community that you fought for. But then you gave an analogy of like the cups and like, you being at 90 and then he's at 60, and then she's at 50, he's at 40. And us being able to pour a little bit into each one, and that each one is our community that we're fighting for or fought for.
And most of the attitude is they don't understand, and that's where it's on. I put it all on the onus on our community, where it's like, and why don't they understand?
Because we don't talk.
Because we don't tell them.
Yeah,
we just sit in our own little circles and say what we say, and again, there's relief but no healing. But when we introduce, that community member, that willing, trusted agent community member, and it's like that really does want to help share the load, then you have to tell the story.
Yeah.
But the story, like I said, that we're talking about is one that requires emotional vulnerability, not physical vulnerability, because we don't do that, but emotional vulnerability, which is the most manliest, hardest, most courageous thing I personally have ever done. I mean, what we did on the job is like, no, man, I'm made for that. You know what I mean? Like that's what it
kind of pales in comparison to being emotionally vulnerable with other men.
Until I was forced to basically, beat myself into submission of, hey, I've got it. Whether it was with my first sponsor, whether it was Josh and us having good conversations with you, you know what I mean? We have to, well, hey, what's up, Kyle? How you doing, man? You're like,
great.
What's up, bro?
Doing good.
Yeah. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's not,
Well, that's like, I think it's worth talking about. I think that the reason that being vulnerable as a man is so hard for us to do is because you could hurt me with it. Me being vulnerable, you can hurt me with it. So if I choose to be vulnerable, I have to choose to accept the risk of that you can hurt me with it, but the reward is far greater than the risk.
Yeah.
So it goes back to courage. Courage is the prioritization of something else over your own fear. And that's the example of courage is being vulnerable with other men. The most courageous things I've ever done is accept that I needed help, and then looking left and right to get that,
and not just once,
just once,
not like that one time I needed help
and I'm good now.
Like,
no,
it's like sometimes daily. You know, I mean, and when you dabble in it, and you give it a shot. Man, is it a great way to live?
It is.
Because and not only is it just being honest, but like that's where I start developing my own strength from that. Because if I'm using courage, to be emotionally vulnerable, then that kind of implies that I have this strength that'll be able to, like you say, now you have information that you can hurt me with, but that's okay because I'm strong enough that I'm not going to allow you to hurt me with it. You know what I mean?
And that's where the capable side of it comes. Because I think in the beginning of this journey that I've been on, like being vulnerable was the hardest thing to do. But then in that space of being vulnerable, like I felt less capable, right? But through the strengthening of being vulnerable with other men, and then the sharpening of one another over these past few years, it's the strengthening equates to the capable and still vulnerable. Like that is a warrior, in my opinion, and really a warrior for Christ, man, is being able to use the skills of my hands and the integrity of my heart to help others, to protect innocence, but really to protect your own mind, your own heart, and what you consume, and the people, the places, the things. Yeah. And that's the only way that this is going to work, especially if we've lived that life the way that we lived it. And we've realized that we need community to do this, and a relationship with a power greater than us. And for me, it's God. And, but now once we have those things intact, like now we have to go out and help others. And we do that with vulnerability, but also being capable.
Which requires even more strength. You know what I mean? Because it's and then I say it's a wonderful thing, but we chose that as a profession.
Yeah.
Not only do we believe that personally, you know what I mean, and try to live that way, but then as a profession, to do that, man, it's super tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's super rewarding and wonderful, but it's also, man, it's freaking hard.
Yeah.
Because it's humans, man, and they
Mhm.
die. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And they suffer, you know, and they get better and they experience joy. You know what I mean? You don't get one without the other, you know. So
Man, that's the part that I Tom doesn't like hearing this, but you know, he's a hero, and not just because of what you did in your military service. Like I think you're my hero because of the profession that you have chosen.
mm,
And I know how hard that is. I can't even imagine how hard that is daily. But you give men like me hope, you know, like to be that servant leader.
yeah.
Like it truly is humbling, and to choose it as a profession. Like I choose to teach the skills of my hands, to shoot, move, communicate, medicate. But this is also a part of our mission. Is the resiliency side of it, and Blue Bearing is a ministry in its own way, but it starts with being sober minded, being of sober mind. And some of us, that's actually like I can't use substances. I can't. And some of it's work. Some of it's work. Some of it's for some of us it's porn. Some of us it's different things. It's relationships that no longer are healthy for us, and we can't let go of. Like, but man, it takes a lot of work, and to choose to help others every day that you walk into that place, and you wouldn't know Tom or Josh other than the lanyard around your neck, you know, from the people the warriors going through the treatment. And I just, for y'all out there that don't understand or are scared, because it's scary, like to get help. Like that place, the atmosphere that they've created, like you, as soon as you get there, man, you feel welcome home. Yeah. You know, you feel home. And now, once you've gone through that, you have to take it up and take it everywhere with you. That mindset.
That's it. Yeah, because it's like, yay us, you know, we made it through. You know what I mean? Still continuing to work on ourselves, but you know, far from where we came from. But then, like, now the job is like, hey, how do you give that to the next man and woman? You know what I mean? Like that next family. Like, how do you? But that's where our worst failures, we'll call them, become our greatest assets for the future. Whenever it's the only way to reconcile that account, you know, is by I use this awfulness that I did, you know what I mean, that happened in my life to these folks that we're working with, you know, and then it becomes an asset. Like, how do you take something that's so horrible and turn it into an asset? Like, that's how. I mean, and it's spiritual in nature. I mean, you can't. I mean, we try to do it, you know, through our words and our actions and stuff, but it's hope. Yeah,
that's the spiritual like side of hope. Hope, faith, and love are the three that remain. And man, hope. Because we know in those spaces that we've turned into an asset was hopelessness, the feeling of hopelessness in that space, and then turning it into hope. And that's one of the greatest gifts that we can give others. And sometimes it's just presence, ministry of presence. And
that's what, tying it back to how we open this with Frontline, like you give our warriors hope. You know, we say, man, we got you. You know, for $20 a month, and you know, multiple people donating, like, we got you. Like, why? There's confusion on the warrior's face. Like, why
are you
really
helping me?
Yeah.
Why do you want to?
I thought it was all bull. And you guys are get on a plane. We're gonna pick you up at the airport. Let's go. We got you. And it just, man, it's spiritual. It really is.
So I think the alumni piece is so important.
Yeah.
Of what you guys have the environment you guys have created and that you're fostering and nurturing, that they can radiate. It's the same thing I talk about with teaching the mindset piece of the protector mindset. It's like, no, man, I want you to take ownership of where you live. All across the country, people come together in these 2-3 day courses. And it's like, go back and take ownership and take that mindset with you and be the change be that example for others, be the one
Yeah.
in the right place at the right time as it pertains to an active shooter. But it's so much more than just protecting physical.
Yeah.
It's the mental, it's the spiritual. Because we live in such a dark world, and being that light, unlocking that light inside of all of us, and then taking ownership of that light. Like, hey man, you're in the light, man. Like everywhere you go, and then words come. Your actions are how you witness to others, and then words. Mic drop. No.
Agreed.
Beautiful.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, so when did y'all officially open the doors though to Warrior's Heart?
So we got the property December 22nd, 2015. We went through licensing, did all that, got the property, stood up, April of 2015.
16.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
April 6th. So this next April coming up will be 10 years.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, I was going through a pretty hard time around then. And I remember, so April 16, you opened the doors, or
April of 2016.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So I went through that first intensive inpatient January of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys had just started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say that got mentioned as a possibility for me to go to, but they were still trying to figure out like what it is,
mm-hmm.
fully. And I'm not going to look back and be like, oh, I wish I'd have went, and all that. I went to a different place, and here we are.
Yeah.
Like
we
are
supposed
together,
to.
Yeah. But we do know some guys that we both know that have gone through that treatment. And
I think back then, I don't think we had our TRICARE certification.
Yeah.
It took a while to get that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just to come full circle back to when, because you and I never worked together at the same time. I think maybe in passing as you were getting out, I was getting there in 2011.
Yeah, I got out in 11.
Yeah. And, but 2016 is when things really started to become more difficult for me in my life. And the Radisson Blu was November 20th, 2015. But I say 2016 because that's when I couldn't hide it anymore, because I was still deployed by myself, in Africa, just unraveling. And came back and just was different. Moved out, left. Erica helped me find a place, and then just was resting in my ability to do the job and just unraveling. And I like to equate myself to like this dry bushel, and that was the spark that kind of lit it, because it wasn't like the only thing I've been through on the battlefield or off. And but that's when my life became unmanageable, and it took me years of just trying to do it alone, trying not to do it alone, but doing it for everybody else. Like even when I was getting help,
we can be pretty stubborn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think all of our wives would agree.
Yeah. But, I look back and even just through some of the struggles I was having, like obviously you've been an anchor in that community as someone that if you are struggling with these things, maybe he can help you in some way.
Yeah. So
I think that's how we got introduced.
Yeah.
And I just looked back at some of the text messages, and really in 2021 is when I think we got connected somehow.
Yeah.
And then I looked back at some of those texts, and I'm like, just got a DUI. Didn't tell you. Didn't tell anyone. But yet I saw a text. That's like July. It's like around that same time frame. And then a couple texts later on, like a few months later, and then almost dying from an overdose that I thought was cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. And that was the first time I saw myself from outside my body. It was just like, man, I was disgusted. And And it was like, to me, it was a spiritual awakening. It was God saying, man, this is your last chance, bud. Mm-hmm. And I've been sober ever since. So, and just getting to know you over these past couple of years is, you know, and how I can help in any way. You know, that started with the connection with you personally, and then realizing that Frontline Healing Foundation was a way that I could also help the mission. And, you know, that's what this is about, though. Like, you know, service to others. And I think your example is just wonderful, man. And as a man, as an entrepreneur, as a warrior, you know, I just appreciate that example that you give us. I know it doesn't seem like you're doing much, but you are. You know, you're just being yourself, but
we're just doing our thing.
Yeah. And Josh, I mean, it's one of those things where just getting to know you more, and I'm just so grateful that you guys have each other.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, thank you. Make a good team.
Yes,
you
we
guys
do.
made it possible because you brought something together.
Yeah, I still wonder how the hell did I get here?
Yeah. You know? But that's what a good piece too is like just back, you know, talking about just the male relationships, you know what I mean? And having each other, but the things, cause I mean, we had our ups and downs like any relationship, but the commitment to the mission, you know what I mean, has always been, and the respect, you know what I mean? As long as you don't just be disrespectful to people, you know what I mean? Like we always remained respectful. We always communicated, but it was this. Like, we have to figure this out because this can't stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like warrior's heart, that mission.
No, because motivation is fleeting. So if we
and the grind is real,
and the
you know what I
grind is
mean?
real.
And then life happens and personal things happen and everything. And meanwhile, you're trying to do this super hard, you know, business model on it.
Is it going to make it? Is it not going to make it?
Yeah. So it was, but it goes back to, like you said, but because being strong enough to be vulnerable, like, cause I haven't heard it that way other than what you have said. If I'm emotionally vulnerable with you, then you can hurt me with it, you know? And it's like, okay, but that's what we got to do. Cause
you know,
it's
I
honest,
realized that,
you know,
I realized that because I realized what was keeping me from being vulnerable was fear. Was fear of the unknown, fear of like what you're going to do with it,
with this
fear of what you might think of me,
right?
You know? And that's where my identity is not in you or a job. I realize that now more than ever, but it boils down to fear, man, and then pride is what we have to combat every day. But we can do that if we look left and right, you know, the people, the men that God's placed in our lives, man. But yeah, so if you guys aren't familiar with Warrior's Heart, please check them out. It's just warriorsheart.com, right?
Yeah.
Warriorsheart.com. But what is something that if guys and gals wouldn't know about Warrior's Heart that is one of your favorite parts about doing it, each of you? The mission.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is that people wouldn't know about?
Because I mean, inherently, like it's heavy, right? Like to talk about Warrior's Heart and talk about like.
Yeah, like the thing that came up for me, we just did our first alumni event. Yeah, you know, which we haven't, you know, we just our heads down, work, you know, getting it done. You know what I mean? And so this year we had, just last month was our first alumni event. So there was about 100-ish, you know, there. From all the way folks that were picked up their 8-year chip, you know, down in Mason Creek, down in the woods there. And we had Operation Song come in, and like we had music, we had food, we had, but just being able to see all the hard work, all the effort, and the people, like, they're living good lives, like they're happy. I mean, they're obviously sober, but then also not only that, they're being successful. They're, you know, that ripple effect that occurs, good or bad, you know what I mean? But now just going that was wonderfully overwhelming to me, but I know for me, just daily, just going around the property, I mean, you got to see it whenever you were there. It's like, the guys and gals in the pool, playing volleyball and everything, and knowing, you know what I mean? Like some of them, like 3 or 4 days ago, like had a pistol in their mouth and were hopeless, and that fast, like that fast. Because we know life can change in a moment, but it can also change for the good in a moment too. We always just think of the bad, but so just little things riding around like that stuff, it's just that's what like keeps me going. I mean, just like being a distance and just kind of looking over everything and knowing all the heartache, all the hard work, all the stuff that it took to like, just to have the space, but that's really, that just in of itself is super like personal to me.
Yeah.
I know it is to a lot of people, but that's like where I can just sit out there drinking a cup of coffee, looking and see what's going on. And then some client, you know what I mean? Some warrior who's struggling hard, raising hell and everything is, you don't get the good with or you don't get the easy with the not easy,? So it was, I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
What about for you?
It's a good question because kind of the surface stuff, what people know about for the most part is we stood up a canine program in both facilities, Texas and Virginia. We placed over almost 500 dogs now, rescued them, trained them up to be emotional support or service dog. So healing both ends of the leash. The Texas property, we have a jiu-jitsu team. We do competitive jiu-jitsu. Then we also teach jiu-jitsu 3 times a week with the warriors, which is awesome. We have a equine program, like all the stuff. I think people know if they're to look into Warrior's Heart, what we do. It's not your typical rehab. Then you get the guy that's 2 weeks into it, man. He's getting back in shape. He's got a weighted vest on. He's doing laps getting training again, getting back in shape.
It's the big loop. The big loop is how down in Texas. It's like
we have one that's 3 miles, another one that's about a mile. The inside track that they're running is about a mile. Yeah. And just to see that, like, man, it came in broken just 2 weeks ago, and now he's getting trained back up, man. He's out in the sun, he's sweating, like, just, you don't see that in your average rehab center. No, you don't. Behind the doors, okay, well, what's happening is that we are relentless on personal development with our staff. Relentless. And a lot of staff members come to us just wanting a job. And little did they know that, hey, we're going to get in their too. Just that's who we are. That's integrity for us. We're working on ourselves too. We can't be like, you have to do this, you have to do that, if we're not doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
So from book studies to discussions to events to trainings, like they're hitting it hard too. And we just don't advertise that. And that's one of the secret formulas, if you will, is that working on our staff just as hard, if not harder sometimes, than with our clients.
And for just like the clients, it's initiative-based training. You know what I mean? Like what effort you put in, you get. And with the staff, the coolest thing happens with the same thing happens with them.
Mm-hmm.
The growth that they have with their families, their life, even in their job descriptions. We've had folks move completely up through the ranks. You know what I mean? Because they know that they can do more and be more. And, it's equally amazing what happens with the staff there.
Well,
the ones that choose in
development, you guys are. I think when I was visiting one of the times, y'all were doing some sort of book study on entrepreneurship stuff, but because you'd given me one of the books, I haven't read it yet, but I need to. I was like, "What are y'all doing?" I need that because I'm struggling with entrepreneurship right now. But no,
That's probably one of Kiyosaki's books. I think I gave you the 8 Rules of Military Leadership or something.
Yeah,
and tied to entrepreneurism.
Yeah, it was earlier this year. I think it had like a yellow cover to it or something. But
there's Rules of a Knight. That one's great.
Yeah.
Stephen Hopkins.
Ethan
Hawkins.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke.
It's cool that's the point you brought up too, because that's clearly important to both of you, but to any team. Like, it's not just getting the right people, it's how do we develop them too?
Yeah.
You know, and you need the right people that can interact with the warriors, but also,
teammates.
Yeah.
Because our staff can't be sicker than our clients.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like
they are.
leading leaders too is also one of the biggest challenges that I've ever faced. You guys got to meet the team or part of the team today,
Yeah.
like Devin, and just blessed to have those guys. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to diving a little deeper in some of this stuff on the bonus episode. But I did want to mention our sponsors of the podcast, ROKA Eyewear and Unit Solutions.
Right on.
And we have a gift that we're going to give you guys.
Sweet.
Like gifts. Mostly.
Each of you.
They're not Sean Ryan gummies, are they?
No, they're not. Those are expensive. No. No, so that's I forgot Blue Bearing. Blue Bearing is the sponsor as well. But that With You hat, that's where 50% of the profit this year goes to Frontline Healing Foundation as a part of that With You collection. But then the iPro that we were using at the shoot house,
nice.
That's what those are. They're the SR1 XTs.
Heck yeah.
Dang,
So
man.
from ROKA. So you guys have some clear iPro there. And
Right on.
I was wondering what kind those were that we had on this morning.
yeah,
Make sure they're in here.
it should be.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Thank you.
They are.
I've been around before. It's like, oh yeah, here's your gift. Oh, my bad. But they're in there. They're in here.
They're in there. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys so much for taking the time with us and for the mission that you guys are on and any way that we can help on this podcast, but also with the mission at Blue Bearing and just personally for myself. Like I'm here in any way I can.
Right on.
And please, if you guys are curious about some of the things we just talked about, please check out warriorsheart.com. There's numbers on there that if you call, someone's going to answer 24/7. So it may not be you. You may know someone else that could use some help with all the things we've been discussing. Be that light for others, and obviously check out that campaign that we're kicking off with Frontline Healing Foundation to help give people hope and be that light and healing through that.
Yeah, these are nice shirts.
Yeah, I designed it myself. It was a group effort. Thank you, House 9 Aubrey with House 9 Productions. He's crushing all the graphics that we kind of give him ideas on and stuff. So he's doing a fantastic job with that. But hope you enjoy this episode. But we'll make sure you check out Patreon, the bonus episode that'll be coming out next week. And let's just all continue to podcast.